All right. Thank you all for joining us. This is the HorseGuyMike Kentucky Derby 147 2021 big podcast. We're here today. I'm HorseGuyMike. We've got with us Johnny the Wire Hirko, also his brother, Mr. White Wine Weather, Andrew Hirko. Say hi, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hey, HorseGuyMike. How you doing?
Glad to be here with you, HorseGuyMike.
Doing well. Thank you so much. So today we're going to dive deep into the analysis of the draw and the overall field of the Kentucky Derby. After that, we're going to talk a little bit about the Kentucky Oaks, look at our Derby Oaks double. After that, each of us are going to give our picks for our most likely winner of the weekend for easiest favorite, our most likely beatable favorite, and then a live long shot from each of us. So without much further ado, let's jump right in to our Kentucky Derby analysis. All right, I'm going to start us off
Mike,
with
actually, before we get started, I was going to drop this on you. So congratulations on starting your first podcast here. Thanks for making me and Andrew a part of it. So when you start a podcast, you got to have a catchphrase, right?
Okay.
And so I was thinking on this, and last night it hit me, man. I have the perfect one. So hear me out. May the juleps be with you.
I love it. May the juleps be with you.
Yeah.
And also with you.
Also with you. I love it. All right.
Is that good? Yeah, it's good for the first podcast. Started out with the catchphrase. Maybe.
I like it.
It's got some legs. Yeah.
We'll get some T-shirts made. May the juleps be with you.
And it's May. Kentucky Derby's in May. May the juleps be with you. I mean,
this is good on multiple levels. All right. We'll get some shirts made. Mr. White Wine Weather, get some hats, get some merch for us.
Hey, if you need merchandise, let me know.
All right. So let's talk about the Kentucky Derby. I want to start off with discussion on the favorite, Essential Quality. John, you dislike this horse a lot. Could you give me a breakdown of what you don't like about this horse before we go into what is to like? Sure.
So Essential Quality, obviously, he's 5 for 5. He hasn't lost. And usually horses that have come in undefeated as the favorite, they are 8 for 17 in Kentucky Derby history. So he basically has a 50% chance to win the thing. But from what I've seen, so I guess what I'm saying, I can't knock his paper, right? I can't knock his form. But I just think the visual of that last Bluegrass where he was on a soft pace set by Highly Motivated. And then he had to go and he had to really grind that win away. And he ended up winning by a neck. He got it done, but I think it took a lot out of him. His speed figures came back fine, not out of this world. So he's kind of there with the top of the field. But I think that looking at the speed figures, not really improving much over his 2-year-old form from the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. You combine that with watching his workouts after the Bluegrass, where he got even with his workmate. His workmate is Spa City, who, just as an aside, has 8 races and 2 wins in his career. So he's not the best horse. And Essential Quality in the 2 workouts has gotten up eyeball to eyeball with him, but he hasn't been able to extend on him after the wire. Spa City has actually galloped out ahead of Essential Quality. So I just think generally, when you have a tough race like that, pairing it up with some subpar workouts, I just think it looks like Essential Quality is coming into the race. Maybe he's going to be a little bit flat. And so I'm planning on playing against him. I think there could be a lot of value playing against him, especially at 2-1. And Mattress Mac is going to make this huge, multi-million-dollar bet. There's going to be a lot of horses to play if you are not on Essential Quality.
Absolutely. I hear what you're saying there. And you brought up a good point about the speed figures this year. We don't really have one horse that just blows away the field from a speed figure standpoint. The top 4 or 5 favorites from both a Beyer, a Brisnet, and a Time Form speed figure standpoint, they're all pretty much the same within 1 or 2 points of each other. So looking at that is a good way to handicap, but I think those top 4 or 5 are above the rest, but you don't have one that's just blown away.
Right. There's no standout. So
right.
Why would I pay a standout price for a horse that I don't really see as a true, he's not like Justify coming in here, blowing fields away. So
right. I think Life is Good had like a 107 Beyer back in in the San Felipe, and that would have been insane. But no horse has been able to replicate anything like
he
that.
he would have. Life is good if he didn't get injured. He would have been the one that would have been that kind of standout. So that's kind of why I'm against essential quality. How about Andrew? What handicapping have you done? How do you feel about him?
I do the bare minimum handicapping. I'm more of a speed guy. I like to look at the speed of the last race. Workouts. Big workout guy. I tend to do a little better handicapping at sprint races, but in this one, I had no idea who you guys were picking, who you guys liked, disliked. I did have essential quality not as my number one horse, but definitely a 2 or 3 plate underneath my favorite. And looking at this race, my favorite, I love the EP7s. I love the post position 15. I'm loving Rock Your World. Looking at his speed figures, he's progressively got better. Even his first 2 races were on the turf. Then he moved to dirt. It looked like a pretty longer race, 1 1/8. Where was that in San Antonio?
Yeah, and he ran on the turf to avoid the Bob Baffert horses.
Okay.
Trainer John Sadler came out and said that. So
Nice.
He kind of hit him off the beaten path a little bit, and then boom, he unleashed him in the Santa Anita Derby. So
He unleashed him in the Santa Anita Derby. It reminds me of my favorite horse of all time, Maximum Security, who had a blazing Florida Derby. Everyone's like, who is this horse? Is he any good? Was like the 2nd or 3rd favorite. So that's why I'm on Rock Your World. It looks like he could post maybe an even bigger number this next race.
Absolutely. And so it looks like you're on Rock Your World. John, I know you've been back and forth on Rock Your World. Immediately after that Santa Anita Derby, he was your boy. But since then, you've been a little hot, little cold towards him. Where did you land on Rock Your World?
Okay, so you are correct. Right after watching the Santa Anita Derby, my initial reaction was, that's my Derby horse. And then, obviously you watch all the races and then the draw and you get your final pick. So my final pick, Rock Your World, is actually my number 2 choice.
Oh, I don't like hearing that. I don't like hearing it.
I am going to play him to win. I will have money on him to win. I definitely think it's possible. Andrew, to your point, he ran the fastest buyer speed figure. He ran the 100.
I forgot to give you my 3rd horse, by the way.
Sorry, what was that?
I forgot to give you my number 3
No,
horse.
we're not there yet.
Okay, all right, fuck it.
We're talking Rock Your World. So, only having 3 races in his career it gives me a little bit of pause, because you have to be very, very talented to overcome that inexperience. And I say that because Rock Your World has never had dirt kicked back in his face. And I think that is a big factor. If he doesn't break clean, and there's a chance that Joel Rosario, he's the jockey. He's a jockey that does not like to push a horse to go. If the horse goes on his own, he'll ride the horse out to the front. But if the horse is a little bit off, he might end up, in the first flight there and getting dirt kicked in his face. And then after that point, he might give up. He might hate it, or he might love it.
He might love it.
It won't matter.
He might be sick and he might love it.
And my other point for picking him second, and I have not really heard, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I consume all the media. I haven't really heard people talk about the track at Santa Anita. When I watch races at Santa Anita, especially this spring, it seems like whoever was on the lead would just extend their lead. It doesn't matter, how fast they would run. If they ran slow fraction, they would win. If they ran fast fraction, they would win. And then they would win by open lengths. And then second place would kind of would finish second by open lengths. And it would almost be like a merry-go-round every time. I mean, we saw Flightline do it this past weekend. We saw, As Time Goes By, did it for Bob Baffert, a filly. I just think the track is kind of speed favoring out there. So I don't think Rock Your World, I don't think it's going to play the same in Kentucky. Even if he gets on the lead or near the lead, I still think there's a pretty good chance someone from behind can still overtake him.
It played in San Antonio, so I don't see why it wouldn't play in Kentucky. Who do you like?
Mike, what do you think about that track thing that I just brought up? What do you think about that?
Yeah,
it made me realize I said San Antonio instead of Santa Anita, and I want to kill myself. So. But.
Damn it.
Thanks, Andrew. John, I think you're right about Rock Your World, especially like you said, he won his only dirt race on the lead. He didn't have Joel Rosario on. He had Humberto Rispoli in that race, who rode him beforehand as well. Joel Rosario does tend to drop back. One thing I saw that was interesting, Joel Rosario is leading the country in graded stakes wins. He has 16 graded stakes wins this year.
Okay.
Next up is Irad Ortiz at 12 graded stakes wins. So
That's a good point. I did not have that written
Very
down.
good.
I like that.
Joel Rosario is kind of the hot jockey right now. John Sadler has shown that he can win at Churchill. He won with Accelerate here back in the Breeders' Cup in 2018. The more you look at Rock Your World, the more he just fits in that mold of a Derby winner. Went for 650,000 at the Keeneland September sale out of Candy Ride, out of an Empire Maker Dam. He's got everything you want. The one thing I am worried about that you mentioned earlier, he's only had one race on dirt, has never had to fight for a lead, hasn't had dirt kicked back into him, didn't race as a 2-year-old. This is the kind of horse that I'm really looking forward to betting later on this year. Potential Traverse and Breeders' Cup horse. I think his first matchup here against high-level competition might not be where I want to get a shorter price on him.
Yeah, that's why he's my number 2 pick, because there's enough questions there where I can't just hammer him down as like a clear favorite, but he definitely has the looks of a very talented horse.
He has the look, he has the talent. You have to trust it on Derby Day.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you're trusting it, go for it.
All right. So
Mike,
Andrew,
so it sounds like you're not really on either of the two we've mentioned, Essential Quality or Rock Your World. So who is your top choice?
well, before we go to me, John, you said you don't Rock Your World's your number 2. Who is your number 1? If you're not going with the favorite, you're not going with the second choice.
Okay, well, we'll kick it to me then. So this year, I've never really, in my Derby career, since we've started in 2015, I've never picked a horse this long to win the Kentucky Derby. Have
you ever picked the Derby winner?
Yes, Nyquist.
Okay.
We saw Nyquist in Florida win the Florida Derby. We doubled down on Nyquist. That was a great.
You had Justify too.
And I had Justify. Yeah.
Oh,
I forget Justify. I had Nyquist and Justify.
Yeah. Okay.
So I usually go for like that Rock Your World type, the best athlete. But this year I'm going with an upset. I'm going with King Fury as my top pick.
Ooh.
20-1. There's so much to like about this horse. I'll just start right off the top with his purchase price. He was purchased for $950,000. He's bred by Curlin, who was a classic champion. Didn't win the Kentucky Derby, but he won the Breeders' Cup. He won races at the distance. It's not a problem. His mom was a Grade 1 winning sprinter, and she won 8 races out of 13 in her career. So I think he has a mix of sprint speed with long distance that is that cruising speed that you want it for the Derby. And I think he has the ability to kick on late to win. Some other key factors I like about King Fury. He's 2 for 3 at Churchill Downs in his career, so he likes the track. As a 2-year-old, with that big purchase price, almost $1 million, they ran him 5 times. And they actually ran him, if you look even into it, they ran him 4 times in over 2 months, in October and November of last year. A really taxing 2 months. And I really think that the connections, they thought this was going to be like a superstar horse, like right off the bat, and he wasn't. He's got 3 wins in 6 races, so he does win, but it seems like he wasn't ready for the big show at 2. So what they did was they gave him extra time off. He came back 3 weeks ago in Lexington, at Keeneland, and he won the Lexington Stakes. And not only that, he improved his Beyer to a 95. A 95 Beyer is only 5 points off the leader, which is Rock Your World, coming into this race. So in my mind,
that's a lot of points.
It's a very high Beyer, especially off a long layoff. He ran fresh. I think he's still going to be fresh. It's only going to be his second race. So he has room for improvement on top of the 95 Beyer that he showed. And so I just think there's so much potential there that I think he could be the horse that just makes that huge jump to the next level. And, he barely got in the gate. He needed like 7 defections to even get in the gate. So he's kind of an afterthought in that regard, but I don't know, when you stack it up, there's so many positives with King Fury that, I'm going to take a swing at it, and try to hit a big number on Derby Day.
I love it. King Fury is one of my top 2 choices as well. I'm a big fan of this horse. Kenny McPeak, trainer of Swiss Skydiver, was really excited once King Fury got in the gate. And you can see, he didn't have, like you said, he took off from November all the way till April, got in the very last prep available to them needed defections to get in the gate. This really seemed like he was using the Lexington as a prep for almost the Preakness, and he was happy to get into the Derby. So I can see that as a positive and a negative. A negative being he wasn't really aimed towards the Derby, didn't have a prep season for it. But as a positive, this horse is geared up, ready to go. Like you said, 95 Beyer, 95 Brisnet speed figure. He won that race in the slop, and he won it convincingly, two and 3/4 lengths. So it could be that he's favoring the slop, but I think that's just a really solid horse. He made a good move on the outside with passing tired horses.
I agree with this thing about the slop. I think everyone is going to look at that and say the slop moved him up. But if you reverse that and say, well, what if he didn't move him up? What if he just had, what if he just liked it in it, he's just a really good horse? Then maybe you're really like, oh, well, he might get even better on a drag track.
Yeah, I think the one thing that helped him with the slop is just his running style. He's a presser, which is why it's one of the main reasons I'm not choosing him to win. I think for the Derby, you're going to need one of those early presser types, EP styles. And King Fury is a presser, which I think is why the slop helped him a lot, because it was creating those tired horses up front and gave him the chance to pass by. So I don't think he's necessarily a slop monster, but I think the slop helped his style that day. So that being said, my horse really fits. I discussed this in my article and in my previous video. I'm going with the number 9. Yeah, the number 9 horse, Hot Rod Charlie. Based on my analytics, looking at the previous 10 winners of the Derby, if we're not counting Country House and we're looking at Maximum Security as a true winner, each one of them won their previous race. So eliminating all the ones who aren't coming off of a win, looking for an EP style horse that's going to be forwardly placed, either on the lead or right near the lead. He drew the perfect 9 position. He has a 96 Brisnet. He had a 95 Beyer. He's got everything going right for him. And then he kind of appeared out of nowhere last year, ran in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and got second place to Essential Quality by a neck at 90-1. Huge odds there. His only other race this year was the Robert B. Lewis over in Santa Anita. Ran into Medina Spirit out there, and just wasn't much pace. Medina Spirit kind of just walked the dog, went wire to wire, like you said. That track at Santa Anita really held for those front runners. So he came back, won the Louisiana Derby, which was a great field. You got Mandolin, you got Midnight Bourbon, you got Obezos, all running in this race that were in the Louisiana Derby. And he proved that he was the best of them. So I think if Hot Rod Charlie can have a forwardly placed trip, he's going to be a really solid contender at a huge price. He's 8-1 on the morning line. I only see that drifting even longer with a lot of the money coming in on Essential Quality and Rock Your World. So he's going to be my choice on top. As we kind of mentioned, I'm not going to leave off Rock Your World, Essential Quality, or King Fury. I think all three of them are very solid horses. I'll probably box them in my exactas and my tries, and definitely going to get a little bit longer here in my pick 5 and pick 6.
I don't think any of us have talked about Highly Motivated. He was one of my top 3. Does anyone like him at all?
I do not, actually. Because going back to what I said about that race, it was very slow, the Bluegrass, and I think Highly Motivated had a perfect trip, and so I just don't see him getting like that perfect of a trip again, and especially with him being outside. But if you like him, man, tell us why you like him.
I mean, I see why Andrew likes him. He's got high speed figs, 102, 3 times in a row. Andrew's a speed fig kind of guy. The reason I don't like Highly Motivated to win, first of all, that statistic I told you where all the winners of the Derby are coming off of a previous win, he got second. It was a second to Essential Quality. I also think this horse doesn't want this long. If you look at his previous races, he started at 6 furlong, 6.5, 6.5, 1 mile, and then the mile and an eighth. I think he's going to be a miler at best, maybe a mile and a 16th. I think it's going to be his perfect kind of area.
Horse Guy Mike, you just sold me. He's off my ticket. Hot Rod Charlie on the ticket. I was liking Hot Rod Charlie, but you sold me.
All right.
Yeah, Andrew, I agree with what Mike said there. Highly Motivated, definitely. He was running those high speed figs at shorter distances, and then he had that easy lead last time. Like, I mean, what was the fraction on that? 48. Yeah. I mean, they're not going to get that. It's going to be 2 seconds faster in Kentucky. So, I mean, it's not even going to be close to the same race that he got.
Very good. Very good.
So along the lines of Hot Rod, I want to bring up, though, I actually like Midnight Bourbon out of that race more than Hot Rod Charlie, mainly because I like the odds better. But I just have to say with Midnight Bourbon, I kind of similar to Highly Motivated. I think Hot Rod Charlie actually had a very easy lead on that Louisiana Derby. And he's a good horse, though. He actually extended out and he won the race. So I can't really knock Hot Rod Charlie. I'm going to be using him underneath as well. I just think that this race, I don't think Hot Rod's going to get that same easy lead again. I think Medina Spirit's going to go fast. I think Rock Your World's going to go fast. And so now, to me, I'm thinking Hot Rod Charlie and Midnight Bourbon are going to be more eye to eye rather than, one in front of the other. And if that's the case, I think Midnight Bourbon, he's a big horse. He's been working out great. Talk about workouts. His penultimate workout, he had a bullet workout. And then before that, he had another bullet workout. And so Steve Asmussen, he's one of my favorite trainers. And whenever I see an Asmussen horse coming in off of a bullet workout like that, it just tells me the horse is ready to run and possibly even improve on what he did last time. So for me, Midnight Bourbon, he's ran 7 times. He's never finished worse than third. He's 7 for 7 in the money. And I think he wants longer distance. And I think he could kind of turn the tables on Hot Rod Charlie with having some real speed horses out in front of him to go as a target. I think he can turn the tables and go up and hit the board, maybe even win. I might have a small win money on Midnight Bourbon just in case he gets it done at 15 to 20 to 1. But I like either of those 2 horses out of Louisiana.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying about Midnight Bourbon. He's actually an East style, so he is supposed to be on the lead. All of his other races, he was on the lead in the Louisiana Derby. He didn't really press Hot Rod Charlie after Hot Rod Charlie got on the lead. The thing that I don't like about Midnight Bourbon is once they hit the stretch, he didn't have anything extra in the tank. He didn't pass any horses. He got caught at the wire by O Bezos and barely beat him in a photo. But O Bezos was the one from that race that was flying fast at the end. Midnight Bourbon, just kind of stuck behind Hot Rod Charlie. You would think a horse with so much forward speed like that should be coming home a little bit hotter, and just didn't like that. Also, and you can take this as a positive or a negative. He's getting Mike Smith aboard, which is a brand new jockey, never ridden him before. He was ridden by Joe Talamo in his last 3 starts. So Mike Smith could be the one to turn him around if you're looking at that angle. But from the other side of things, it's a jockey who's never ridden the horse before in what should be his most difficult race. So he might not be as familiar with his style and how to ride him. So that's why I'm completely tossing Midnight Bourbon, not even top 5 finishing.
Ooh.
He is off my ticket completely.
I don't know. I feel like if you like Hot Rod, you got to like Midnight a little bit too now.
No, because Midnight Bourbon has shown that he's not as good as Hot Rod Charlie.
You don't like the fact that he doesn't pass horses, which I get. That's a legitimate concern. He has to.
But he should factor into the pace setup here as someone who wants to be forwardly placed, coming from that 10 hole. I see kind of Medina Spirit, Midnight Bourbon, Rock Your World going to the lead 3 wide around the first turn, with kind of Hot Rod Charlie and Essential Quality sitting in that second tier pack behind him. So that's how I'm kind of seeing how the pace sets up.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
All right.
Andrew, you got any I've talked about some long shots. Do you guys have any long shots that you like?
Yeah, Andrew, who's your long shot? John likes Midnight Bourbon as his long shot. Who's yours?
And King Fury. King Fury's
better. We're talking about the Derby.
Derby, yes.
Derby.
Yeah, still on Derby.
I know I have a name. It's not on the. Let me look at it real quick. Give me 1 second.
Well, Andrew's pulling that up. I'm going to go with my long shot, and that's going to be Sainthood. Sainthood 50 to 1. Todd Pletcher horse. This horse is working out like a monster. Its last prep was the Jeff Ruby Stakes. Got second there. That race didn't come back very strong. But I think out of all the horses that ran in it, those. You want to talk about a horse closing into fractions. This horse was passing tired horses all down the stretch, just couldn't get to the leader like the King before the wire. I think he's going to appreciate the surface there at Churchill. Todd Pletcher's got him geared up. He's working out like a champ. I think at 50 to 1, this horse has a really strong chance to hit the board there. 93 Brisnet speed figure last out.
And my long shot, let me know if this is a long shot, Medina Spirit.
No, so I actually have a pretty strong feeling about him. I think his odds are 15 to 1, but because it's Baffert's only horse. That's pretty long. But because it's Baffert's only horse, I think he's gonna be like 8 to 1. People are just gonna bet him because he's Bob Baffert.
But I think he has a chance.
He does have a chance.
He does have a chance. I'll give you that. But I don't look at him as a true long shot because it's Baffert. Like his odds are not gonna go off at 15 to 1.
He was the longest one I liked for this race.
Oh, really? So you're mostly just sitting on chalk.
I like the Baffert horse. I really like that San Antonio Derby race.
You can't keep saying San Antonio Derby.
I'm going to keep doing it for this entire show. So Rock Your World won, but that horse was willingly in second. So, if you like that race, I think it's going to play into this race. So.
Yeah, I think Medina Spirit's got a chance. I agree with John. He won't be 15 to 1. But if you're going to take a shot at like a mid-tier horse, I think Medina Spirit going to have a similar trip to Authentic last year, where he's going to go straight to the lead. And if they don't get a lot of pressure on him, he's going to go all the way around.
He's going to go a long way. If he gets on the lead by himself, he's going to go a long way, possibly win it. I think more of like I'll have him, 2, 3, 4 in my tickets, but he's definitely a good horse to include for sure.
And can't go wrong with Baffert.
All right. So that kind of wraps up our Derby coverage. I want to move on to the Kentucky Oaks, and then
I wanted to talk about a horse. How about a horse we don't like that other people are gonna like?
All right, go ahead.
I got one in particular.
Bezos.
Is like Bezos he's turning into the wise guy horse. All the podcasts and all the wise guys on Twitter are picking this horse. So I think his Louisiana Derby, he got third, but he had a perfect rail trip from behind, and he beat a bunch of bad horses in there. And he didn't pass Midnight Bourbon. Like, I think it was more like Midnight Bourbon was doing all the work trying to pass Hot Rod Charlie. And this horse was just way behind, just kind of cruising along. And then, he made a nice run up the rail, but I think he got a clean trip. And I think he just had a good day to get third. And then now he's going to be back in the back with 20 horses in front of him. I just do not see how he's going to have a clean rail trip and beat some of these really good horses that we've been talking about. So I think Bezos, just don't even put him in the top 4. But from what I've seen, I think his odds are going to go down on Derby Day just based on the Twitter chatter.
Yeah, I don't like any kind of closers in this type of race. Like you said, he's going to be, in the 17th or 18th position coming for home. And he's going to have to make a big move and navigate a lot of traffic. Honestly, I think Bourbonic's move was better than Bezos's move from a closing standpoint.
And Bourbonic's 50-1 and Bezos is 20-1. Bezos is the same price as King Fury. So
yeah,
if you have them on the same level, I want King Fury.
I think
toss
Bezos as the wise guy. Honestly, most of the horses I think don't have a chance. Soup and Sandwich is another one that's getting a lot of credit, but his outside draw and the amount of speed that he's going to have to deal with, I don't think it's going to fit his style
it's tough
either.
From way outside.
Yep. All right. Perfect. Well, so let's talk a little bit about the Kentucky Oaks, and we can talk about what our Kentucky Oaks Derby doubles are going to look like. John, you've got a monster in the Oaks. Tell me a little bit about your girl.
I do. So the Kentucky Oaks, the favorite is Molithot for Todd Pletcher. She was $1 million purchase. She's 4 for 4, much like Essential Quality. She hasn't lost. She hasn't done anything wrong. But unlike Essential Quality, I think she's coming in to this race, and I think she's just peaking right now, whereas I think Essential Quality is a little bit flat. Molithot came off a long layoff, won her last race. She chased down past the Champagne, and past the Champagne, got the jump on her, was out like 4 lengths in front. And then Molithot came down the stretch and finished, beat her by a nose right on the line. And that was her first race off a layoff. So that was like a warm-up race. And then now all of a sudden, Todd Pletcher, he's in here and she's going to be the favorite. They get a longer distance than the warm-up race. I think Molithot's just going to be super tough. I see no reason why, she's only going to extend her speed the longer they go. I really don't see any other horse that's going to challenge her. She's going to sit mid-pack. She's going to make that wide move around the turn, that 3 wide move that we all love. And I think she's just going to just burn home and win this thing pretty easily, actually. So I'm going to single her. I'm going to key all my bets around her. And then I'll talk about the other horses I like underneath. But I'm definitely just all in on Molithot being a superstar type of filly, and then taking shots other places.
Yeah, I agree. Molithot, the more and more you look at this race, the more and more she stands out over the rest. Like you said, undefeated. And the reason she took that long layoff was because she is a Shadwell stable horse, and the death of the Sheik overseas.
They had to do a 10-day grieving period.
Yeah, they had a grieving period. She was supposed to run at Gulfstream, but due to the grieving period, they didn't run her there. So they ran her at Keeneland. They'd been trying to run her for a while. She's going to be a monster. She needs that kind of setup. So there's not a lot of pace in this race. I'm worried that one of these horses is just going to get on the lead, set soft fractions, and then just kind of power home. Molithot, I think, can sit either second or third behind whoever ends up setting the pace. The problem is that Ava's Grace scratched. She was supposed to be the pace in this race. She ended up scratching earlier today. So the pace in this race is looking like either Travel Column, Miraz, Yeah, so we'll see, or search results. So search results is one. She ran up at Aqueduct, had good speed figures, just is not running against good competition. Changing her lead late down the stretch as well. Chad Brad, Irad Ortiz, you can't ever factor them out. I think she'll be a huge play here. Search results, but I think Malathat, I can't see her losing this race. If she does lose, it'd be travel column or search results. But this looks like it's going out very chalky to me. If there was one that I would take a shot at, it would be Past the Champagne, who Malathat beat in the last race. She ran into some traffic trouble around the stretch or down around the far turn. I thought she was going to come home a lot stronger. Malathat barely caught her, but I think taking the two, Malathat's going to win. Past the Champagne, I could see getting up for second. All right, Andrew.
Yeah, who do you like, Andrew?
You guys kind of nailed it. I do like search results quite a bit in this race. After looking at it one more time quickly, I had in my notes search results, Molotov, and then as Mike said, Past the Champagne. I like barely lost to Molotov. It is getting extended, which I don't like because Molotov did catch him, so that's a little cause for concern there. But search results, you can't go wrong with Chad Brown. And it has ran 1 1/8 already. G3 won that with a great speed figure. So I'm a big speed figure guy. I had a better speed fig than Molotov. And I think search results is going to be my play in this race. I might do a big, love the exacta box. Might do that, the top two there, search results and Molotov. And then I'm feeling it maybe Past the Champagne.
Yeah, I like that. I think my betting strategy here is Molotov singling in a Oaks Derby double Molotov, and then I'm going to combine her with Hot Rod Charlie and King Fury with the double there. And then I'm going to do a reverse of that, where I'm going to put Travel Column and Past the Champagne with Essential Quality and Hot Rod Charlie. Those are going to be my Derby double plays.
So you're trying to hit the chalk on one of the two.
Exactly, trying to hit the favorite in one and hope for a long shot in the other. Because I think if the chalk wins both of them, that's not gonna pay well anyway. I do like Travel Column a lot. I think I might just ice cold Travel Column Malafat box it. Just the two of those. Maybe do a bigger box with just the two of them.
Exacta.
Yeah, exacta that, and then throw in Past the Champagne and try box that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I like all those horses. One I will throw in. So I was going to play Molotov on top with Past the Champagne behind her. I do like what Past the Champagne did last race. I don't think she can turn the tables when you're going a longer distance, when she already lost at the shorter distance. But I think she could beat everyone else basically. And then the other kind of a long shot I like is the 4 Crazy Beautiful for Ken McPeak. She won the Gulfstream Park Oaks down at Gulfstream. And she's 15-1 here. I get that she's a deep closer and that, now with the scratch of Ava's Grace, probably not going to get a fast pace. And that definitely doesn't help the closing style. But I think if anything, who knows, if she's feeling good, she's been working out great coming into the race. If she's feeling good, maybe she just passes everyone else, but she can't get up and beat Molotov. So I'm going to play a straight exacta Molotov over Past the Champagne and Crazy Beautiful. And then for my Oaks Derby double, I'm definitely just going to stick on Molotov, win or lose Friday. I'm either alive or I'm dead. And then I'm definitely going to play like King Fury. I'm going to play Rock Your World. I'm going to play Midnight Bourbon on the Derby side. And then I might we didn't talk about him, but I might play Known Agenda on the rail. He won the Florida Derby. He got the rail, which is like the worst post you can get. I don't think he's got a very great chance of winning, but if I'm going to check the payouts, and if his odds in the payouts are way sky high, then I might have like a $5 on him in the Oaks Derby double.
I like that. Andrew, do you have an Oaks Derby strategy? Chalk.
It's pretty chalky. Molotov search results for the Oaks, and then you have Rock Your World, you have Essential Quality, and you have Hot Rod Charlie.
All right. Sounds good. Well, that's our Derby and our Oaks coverage. We're going to go ahead and do quick fire coverage of some more topics here. We're each going to give out our easiest single of the weekend, our most vulnerable favorite of the weekend, and then our livest long shot of the weekend. John, do you want us to get us started with this? This can be any of the stakes races on Friday or Saturday.
All right, let's start with Friday, and let me go against the favorite that I want to beat. So in the Grade 1 La Troyenne, it's on Friday at 3:00. It's race 8. The favorite in there is She Dares the Devil, a very good horse for Brad Cox. She won a bunch of races as a 3-year-old. She won the Kentucky Oaks here last September. But what happened was after she graduated from the 3-year-old ranks, she came back and lost her first race against Olders. And then she took a layoff over the winter. She came back. She won her first race in 2021. She beat Latruska, who just beat Monomoy Girl. So she has the back class. I cannot knock the fact that she's the favorite. But I think there's a horse in here, Paris Lights, that you need to watch out for. Paris Lights won a Grade 1 at Saratoga last year, beat a Bob Baffert horse. Let me pull up her PP so I get this correct. She beat the Bob Baffert horse, and then I want to say she had one more race after that. Yes, she took the layoff after that Grade 1. So she won the Grade 1 in July and then took a layoff all the way until April 2nd of this year. And what happened then was she ran a 7-furlong sprint in April. It was a Grade 3 race and she won. I think this was a total prep race. Like she won that Grade 1 at 1 1/8, and then she comes back and runs a 7-furlong sprint. It screams to me that Bill Mott was just trying to get a race in this filly. He wants her to run longer. He wanted to see her, run up against some real speed, and she did, and she won. So she's coming out of that race with a win, and she's working out fine. She's on the outside of She Dares the Devil, so she will be able to kind of track She Dares the Devil around the course. And this race is going out to 1 1/16, so she's extending her distance 2.5 furlongs. But I think she's already won a Grade 1 at 2 turns. I think she wants to be a 2-turn horse, and I see no reason why she can't improve. And at 8-1, I think you could get some serious value if you beat She Dares the Devil on Friday at 3:00 in race 8.
All right, perfect. So that's your most vulnerable favorite. Who's your easiest single of the weekend?
All right, so my single, I'm going to go with Colonel Liam in the Turf Classic right before the Kentucky Derby. I know there's a lot of good horses in there, a lot of big names. Chad Brown's got some, and other big trainers, Mike Maker, and so on and so forth. But Todd Pletcher, he's got Colonel Liam looking like a beast. This horse he's 2 for 2 this year. He won the Pegasus Turf. He won the Muniz Memorial at Fairgrounds. So, and he's won both of them. I think the race at Fairgrounds was slow pace. He still came back and won. The Pegasus was a little bit of a faster pace. He won that one easily. So I don't think the pace really matters for him. I think he's just a great horse. He's got the best late pace figures of any horse in the race. So when they turn for home, and if he's anywhere close to the lead, I think he's got the best finishing kick. And so I'm going to be singling him right before the Kentucky Derby, kind of like I'm doing with the Oaks. I'm going to single Colonel Liam in the turf and play that right into the Kentucky Derby horses. All
right, solid Pegasus World Cup turf finisher. And who's your livest long shot for the weekend?
Okay, my long shot in the Pat Day Mile, also on Saturday at 2:48. I'm going to go with Sitting on Go. He's a Dale Romans horse that he was a failed horse on the Kentucky Derby trail. But last year as a 2-year-old, his second race ever, he won a 1-mile race at Churchill Downs. I believe it was the Iroquois. And he came off the pace from behind. He swooped around the field and won going away. And ever since then, that was the last time he did a 1-turn race. Ever since then, he's been 2 turns, and he's finished, 6th, 7th, 8th. He hasn't even come close. And I think he's one of those horses that he's always wanted to be a 1-turn horse, and now he's getting that chance. He's going to run into a fast pace. You got Jackie's Warrior, Prevalence. You got a bunch of really fast horses early in that race. He's a closer. I think he wants the 1-turn closing trip. And at 20-1, I think, maybe he will win, maybe he won't, but I think for sure he's going to hit the board. So even a show bet on a 20-1 horse is a pretty decent profit. So he's going to be my long shot for the weekend, Sitting on Go in the Pat Day Mile.
All right, perfect. Andrew, go ahead and give us your easiest single of the weekend.
Easiest single. Let me give you the beat the favorite.
Okay.
Beat the favorite. We're gonna go to the American Turf on Saturday. We're gonna bet Scarlet Sky to win that race. We are gonna fade the favorite, which I believe is Win From Within. So Scarlet Sky has, you know me, I'm gonna look at speed. So not his last race, but 2 races ago, barely, I believe, lost to Annex.
I'm just saying Du Jour is actually the favorite in that one. But,
I don't even know who Du Jour is. He doesn't even pop up on my radar, so he's out.
Oh no, sorry, Annex. My bad. Annex was the favorite.
Annex. So
Annex was the favorite.
Lost the Annex 2 races ago. Then this past race, each of them kind of underperformed. So I'm expecting Scarlet Sky to jump back up and run a big race. On these ones, on the beat the favorite races, I just don't love any of the favorites in this race. So I think Scarlet Sky is a play there.
All right, perfect.
Turn the tables. I like that.
So who is your easiest single then?
Easiest single is Gamine. Is that even a question?
That's too easy. Give us something.
Is that too easy?
No. It's okay. I mean, we knew someone
She's
was
1 to
gonna pick
5
it.
on the morning line, dude.
I'll give you another one. Maxfield and Aunt Pearl to start.
You can't name 3 horses. You got to pick
No,
one.
I like that. So you're saying you're singling. You're just singling both. Like you're just going single. Yeah.
That's how we're gonna start our Friday. You're gonna be at work. You're gonna be like, shit. Maxfield and Pearl, daily double, single. Make some money, and then you got some cash flow for the week and weekend.
I like that. They're both 4 to 5, but I like the fact that you single both. You just say, screw it. I'm going with 2 horses, two races, 2 horses. Let's just let it ride.
Mike asked for one.
That's not a bad bet if they both.
Mike asked for one. I give him 3.
There you go.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm trying to give out my horses too, so.
Hey.
You can't hog all the horses. All right. Well, I'll go ahead.
You got a big brain over there, Horse Guy Mike. You have another one.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead with my easiest single of the weekend. You just stole her. It's Aunt Pearl, 4 to 5. First race off layoff. She won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf pretty easily. It's her debut coming back. Reminds me a lot of Newspaper of Record. Just gets on the lead and just pounds home. Big 2-year-old year. I think she's going to make a ton of noise this year. Another Brad Cox horse, he's doing really well. I think Aunt Pearl, easiest single for the weekend. My vulnerable favorite. Who did I just have for this?
While you think, I will say, Newspaper of Record, was it from 2 to 3? She came back and lost a few races. Like she wasn't as good.
She was only good on the yielding.
Yeah. Yielding. So I'm just saying, like, I agree that Aunt Pearl is definitely a single when you handicap the race, but man, it could be one of those where she was awesome at 2, but did she really improve at 3? There's no way to know. It's her first race at 3.
All right. So my most vulnerable favorite, that's going to be in the 6th race on Saturday, the Longines Church Distaff Turf Mile. Got Stormy is your favorite at 8 to 5. I'm going with the next choice up, Zofel, the 4 horse at 2 to 1. I think this pace in this race is going to be absolutely blazing. You got a lot of front runners there. Zofel barely lost to Got Stormy last out, was closing in absolutely monster speeds coming down the stretch. Didn't catch her quite at the wire. I think this time she's going to catch him. I think Zofel is going to be my winner there. But just looking at this race in general, Got Stormy is a wonderful horse, and I'd be really happy if she won. But there's so many good horses in this race that I don't think Got Stormy is a strong favorite that we can play with. So I think Got Stormy is going to be my most vulnerable favorite for the weekend. I'm going to go with the number 4 horse, Zofel, in that race.
I agree. I like that. Got Stormy, she's a year older, she did beat Zofel last time, but Zofel was closing like a freight train, and like it was like a photo finish, and she very easily could have won. So
I definitely see how they blowout in that race. Chad Brown horse.
What's that?
I also like blowout in that race.
I love blowout in that race. I think blowout's going to get on an easy lead, and Got Stormy chasing her, and they might go 1-2 around the track, and then Zofel comes up from back. I think you could play that trifecta box. The 3 horses that we just named, Zofel, Got Stormy, and Blowout. I think you can just wrap those 3 up, trifecta and then start our Kentucky Derby Saturday off with some free cash.
HorseGuyMike nailed it. Got Stormy last place in that race.
No, she won't finish last, dude. She will finish in the top 3. But she might finish 3rd.
And my long shot, not too long of a long shot. This horse is 8-1. And that's going to be in race number 10 on Saturday, the Churchill Downs Stakes, 7 furlong sprint. We have Whitmore, who's a really good horse, finally getting away from CZ Rocket there. But I'm going with the long shot, 8-1. Let's tap it to win. So this horse tried the Derby kind of trail last year, the Ultra Derby trail, went to the Belmont. Everyone thought it was going to be just the leader at the Belmont, just set blazing fractions. Couldn't do it, lost to Tis the Law there. Ran a couple other kind of weird races last year. Came back off of a long layoff, ran its last race in the Pat Day Mile in the undercard of the Derby. Came back in March of this year and had a really, really impressive win at Tampa. Posted a 102 Brisnet speed figure off the layoff. I think it's improving. You got Mark Cassie, John Velasquez, high speed figures, good layoff, getting back to what it's good at with one-turn sprint races. I think Tap It to Win, it's got a really good shot to come home at a price in what expects to be a fast sprint race. So my long shot, Tap It to Win it. Easiest single, Aunt Pearl. Most vulnerable favorite, Got Stormy.
I still owe you my live long shot, Mike.
Oh, sorry, Andrew. I interrupted you. Go for your live long shot.
And this is my favorite part of handicapping. We're going to look at only sprint races because I believe that's where a favorite can get upset. Louisiana Downs and on a weekday has trained me for this. We're going to go to the 8 Bells race on Kentucky Oaks Day. We're going to go to the 20-1 long shot. Euphoric. It is live. Wow. It is live. It is live. You guys probably have never even heard of this horse.
I know it. I put an X right through it.
I hope it was in pencil because you need to erase that. You look at the speed on the last race, it was second, only a day out of the office. So I'm just not in love with a day out of the office. It's a good horse, not great horse. So we're going to go Euphoric. Last 3 figs, 93, 95, 94. Good workout times. It had a nice 58.5.
Wow, that's a fast workout. 58.4 bullet workout.
The only thing I'm concerned about is the distance, but hey, weirder things have happened. Maybe it gets on the lead and just goes.
She's going one furlong further. But her last 2 races, she won by 5 and won by 10 lengths. So
there you go.
Even though she was racing at fairgrounds, probably against nobody good.
I probably watched that race on a fucking TV.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe she's improving. I mean, that's kind of a way out there pick, man. But in these 3-year-old races, man, you don't know who's improving.
That's the definition of a live long shot there. No stakes, experience, 20-1 morning line. I love it. Thanks, Andrew.
Might end up 50-1 and we're going to make some money.
I mean, I might have to include that horse now and just
John's like altering his pick 5.
Yeah, if I lose out because of this horse now, Andrew's we're never going to live it down, horse guy.
All right, perfect. Well, that should wrap up our coverage today. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to add before we wrap it up?
May the juleps be with you.
All right. Well, may the juleps be with you. Good luck, everyone, this weekend. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at HorseGuyMike. We've got at Bush League Racing. And then we have Twitterless Andrew, but you can follow him on Instagram at White Wine Weather. Thank you again. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll have new episodes coming to you every so often whenever we feel like it. But may the juleps be with you.